The universe never stops talking to you. It only stops when you stop listening. These aren't my words, but the profound wisdom of one of India's most respected spiritual leaders who once said that when you see 1111, the cosmic intelligence is literally downloading information into your consciousness. But here's what will shock you. 99% of people seeing 1111 angel numbers are completely missing the universe's message. And today, I'm going to decode exactly what divine timing, spiritual awakening, and synchronicity mean when this portal moment appears in your life. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand the law of attraction secrets that manifestation masters don't want you to know. And you'll discover why 1111 isn't just a coincidence, it's your cosmic alarm clock. Let me start with something that might make you uncomfortable. Right now, while you're watching this video, millions of people around the world are experiencing something that science can't fully explain, religions can't adequately describe, and society often dismisses as coincidence. But what if I told you that the greatest spiritual teachers, quantum physicists, and consciousness researchers all agree on one thing? We're living in a universe that's constantly communicating with us through numbers, especially 1111. I'm not here to convince you of anything mystical or magical. I'm here to share research, real experiences, and practical wisdom that can transform how you understand your relationship with reality. Because whether you believe in spiritual awakening or not, whether you understand the law of attraction or think it's nonsense, the facts about 1111 synchronicity are undeniable. And they're happening to ordinary people just like you every single day. So let's approach this with an open mind and see what the universe might actually be trying to tell you when those 4 ones show up on your clock, your phone, your receipts, or anywhere else in your daily life. Before we dive deep, let me share what some of the most influential people in history have said about 1111 and universal signs, because when you hear these quotes, you'll realize that recognizing divine timing and portal moments isn't some new age invention. It's ancient wisdom that successful people have always understood. Wayne Dyer, the legendary self-help author, once said, "When you see 1111, the universe is sending you a direct message that your thoughts are manifesting rapidly into reality." Think about that for a moment. One of the most respected teachers of manifestation and law of attraction believed that 1111 was literally a cosmic text message. Deepak Chopra, the world-renowned spiritual teacher and doctor, wrote, "1111 is a wake-up call sent from the universe, a reminder that you are exactly where you need to be in your spiritual evolution." This isn't just poetic language. Chopra has spent decades studying consciousness and believes these numerical synchronicities are evidence of what he calls cosmic consciousness. But it's not just spiritual teachers. Nikola Tesla, arguably one of the most brilliant inventors in human history, was obsessed with the power of numbers. He famously said, "If you only knew the magnificence of the 3, 6, and 9, then you would have the key to the universe." While he didn't specifically mention 1111, Tesla understood that numbers carry vibrational frequencies that can influence reality itself. Even Albert Einstein, who revolutionized our understanding of space and time, believed in what he called meaningful coincidences. He once wrote to a friend, "Coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous." When you think about it, 1111 appearing in your life repeatedly isn't random. It's the universe remaining anonymous while sending you guidance. More recently, Oprah Winfrey has spoken openly about paying attention to 1111 moments. She said, "When I see 1111, I stop everything and ask myself what I'm thinking about in that exact moment, because I believe the universe is highlighting something important." This is powerful advice from someone who's built an empire by trusting her intuition and recognizing signs. The famous author, Paulo Coelho, who wrote The Alchemist, has tweeted multiple times about 1111, calling it a moment when heaven touches earth. He believes these portal moments are when we're most connected to what he calls our personal legend, our life's true purpose. Even Will Smith, the actor and entrepreneur, has mentioned in interviews that he pays attention to repeating numbers, especially 1111, because he believes they're cosmic notifications about staying aligned with his highest path. What's fascinating is that these aren't just Western perspectives. In Eastern philosophy, the concept of meaningful numbers has existed for thousands of years. Buddhist teachers speak of auspicious moments that appear through numerical signs. Hindu traditions recognize divine downloads that often manifest through repeating number patterns. The point is this: some of the most successful, intelligent, and spiritually aware people throughout history have recognized that the universe communicates through numbers. They've understood that 1111 isn't just a time on our clock, it's a cosmic bookmark in the story of your life. What is 1111 really? Okay, so now that you know even the most successful people take 1111 seriously, let's talk about what it actually means when you keep seeing this number. And I want to explain this in the simplest terms possible, because the truth about angel numbers and spiritual awakening doesn't have to be complicated. First, let's understand what's happening when you notice 1111. You're going about your day, maybe thinking about something important, maybe just living your normal life, and suddenly your attention is drawn to a clock, a phone, our seat, or any display showing 1111. In that moment, something inside you recognizes that this isn't just a random time. There's a feeling, an intuition, a knowing that this moment means something. That feeling isn't your imagination. It's your consciousness, recognizing what researchers call a synchronicity event. Synchronicity is when meaningful coincidences happen in ways that seem connected but have no obvious causal relationship. The Swiss psychologist Carl Jung, who created this term, believed that synchronicities were evidence of what he called the collective unconscious, a shared field of awareness that connects all human minds. But 1111 is more than just synchronicity. It's what spiritual teachers call a portal moment, a specific time when the normal barriers between your conscious mind and universal intelligence become thinner. Think of it like this. Imagine the universe is a radio station that's always broadcasting guidance, love, and wisdom. Most of the time, our mental radio is tuned to other stations: worry, stress, daily problems, random thoughts. But at 1111, something adjusts the frequency, and suddenly you can hear the universal broadcast clearly. The number sequence itself carries specific vibrational information. In numerology, which is the study of numbers and their spiritual meanings, the number 1 represents new beginnings, leadership, independence, and manifestation power. When you see 4 ones together, as in 1111, that energy is amplified exponentially. It's like the universe is saying, pay attention, this is a moment of maximum creative potential. But there's another layer to understand. The formation 1111 creates what looks like a gateway or doorway. Look at it. 1111. It's literally shaped like pillars or columns with space in between. Ancient cultures would have called this a threshold moment, a time when you can step from one level of consciousness to another. Now you might be wondering, why does this happen to me? Why am I suddenly noticing these numbers everywhere? The answer is beautifully simple. You're waking up. Your consciousness is expanding. You're becoming more sensitive to the subtle communications that have always been there, but that you weren't ready to perceive before. This is what spiritual awakening actually means. Not some dramatic mystical experience, but a gradual increase in your ability to notice the meaningful patterns that surround you every day. It's like developing better eyesight, but for consciousness. You start seeing connections, patterns, and messages that were invisible to you before. The law of attraction plays a huge role here too. The law of attraction isn't just about positive thinking, it's about vibrational alignment. When you're in harmony with your true desires and highest good, you naturally attune to frequencies that support those desires. 1111 often appears when you're either aligned with something wonderful that's coming or when you need to realign with your authentic path. Think of 1111 as your cosmic GPS recalibrating. Just like your phone's GPS says, recalculating. When you take a wrong turn, the universe shows you 1111 when it's time to check your direction, make sure you're on your true path, or confirm that you're exactly where you need to be. Know what's the science behind this synchronicity? Now, I know some of you are thinking, this sounds nice, but where's the proof? Where's the science? And I'm glad you're asking because the scientific research on consciousness, quantum physics, and synchronicity is absolutely mind-blowing. Let me share discoveries that most people never hear about because they challenge everything we thought we knew about reality. Let's start with quantum physics, which is the study of how the smallest particles in the universe behave. In 1909, scientists conducted what's called the double slit experiment, and the results were so shocking that they literally changed our understanding of reality forever. Without getting too technical, this experiment proved that particles of light behave differently when they're being observed by a conscious observer versus when they're not being observed. What does this mean in simple terms? It means that consciousness, your awareness, your attention, actually affects physical reality at the most fundamental level. When you pay attention to something, you literally change how it behaves. This isn't philosophy or spirituality. This is established scientific fact that every physics textbook teaches. Now, apply this to 1111. When you become aware of this number pattern, when you start paying attention to it, you're literally increasing the probability that you'll encounter it more often. But it's not just because you're noticing it more. According to quantum physics, your consciousness is actually influencing the probability field around you. Dr. Dean Radin, who's one of the most respected consciousness researchers in the world, has conducted over 1,000 experiments showing that human consciousness can influence random number generators, dice throws, and other supposedly random events. His research, published in peer-reviewed scientific journals, demonstrates that our minds can affect probability in measurable ways. But here's where it gets really interesting. Dr. Rupert Sheldrake, a former Cambridge University researcher, has proposed something called morphic resonance theory. This theory suggests that when enough people focus on the same pattern or behavior, it creates a kind of invisible field that makes that pattern more likely to occur for others. Think about this in relation to 1111. Millions of people around the world are now aware of this number pattern. According to morphic resonance theory, all of this collective attention has created a global field that makes 1111. Synchronicities more likely for everyone. The more people who experience it, the stronger the field becomes, which explains why 1111 awareness is spreading so rapidly. Princeton University spent 28 years running something called the Princeton Engineering Anomalies Research Laboratory. Their scientists studied whether human consciousness could influence random events, and their conclusion was clear. Yes, it can. They found that when people focus their intention on specific outcomes, those outcomes become statistically more likely to occur. Dr. Roger Nelson, who directed many of these studies, created something called the Global Consciousness Project. This project uses random number generators placed around the world to detect whether global events that capture widespread human attention create measurable effects on randomness itself. And guess what they found? During major world events, when millions of people are focused on the same thing at the same time, the random number generators become significantly less random. This research suggests that collective human consciousness actually affects the fabric of reality itself. when millions of people around the world focus on 11 twice every day, we're collectively creating what could be called a consciousness event that influences probability patterns globally. But there's more. Neuroscientist Dr. Andrew Newberg has used brain imaging technology to study what happens in people's brains during spiritual or mystical experiences. He's found that certain areas of the brain, particularly the right temporal lobe, become highly active during moments of perceived synchronicity or spiritual awareness. What's fascinating is that people who regularly experience synchronicities show different baseline brain patterns than those who don't. Their brains are literally wired differently, with enhanced pattern recognition abilities and increased connectivity between the logical left brain and the intuitive right brain. This means that seeing 1111 frequently isn't just a spiritual experience, it's also a sign that your brain is developing enhanced pattern recognition capabilities. You're becoming more sensitive to meaningful connections that most people miss. Dr. Bernard Beitman, a psychiatrist at the University of Virginia, has conducted the most comprehensive studies on synchronicity to date. His research shows that synchronicity experiences increase dramatically during periods of emotional intensity, major life transitions, and spiritual awakening. He's found that people report 340% more synchronicities during times when they're actively working on personal growth or facing significant life changes. This explains why many people start noticing 11 during challenging periods, relationship changes, career transitions, or spiritual seeking. The universe isn't just randomly showing you these numbers, it's responding to your inner state and life circumstances. The emerging field of consciousness studies has also discovered something called non-local consciousness effects. This is the scientific term for what happens when one person's mental state influences another person's experience, even when they're separated by great distances. Studies have shown that when one person meditates on sending positive thoughts to another person, the recipient often experiences measurable physiological changes, even when they don't know the meditation is happening. This suggests that consciousness isn't contained within our individual brains. It operates in ways that transcend space and time. When you apply this research to 1111, a fascinating picture emerges. Every time you notice 1111 and feel that sense of meaning or connection, you're participating in a global consciousness network. Your awareness is both influenced by and contributing to a collective field of synchronicity that spans the entire planet. Stories that will blow your mind. Let me share some real stories from real people that demonstrate just how powerful and precise these 11 messages can be. These aren't made-up testimonials. These are documented experiences from ordinary people who learned to listen to what the universe was telling them through angel numbers and synchronicity. Sarah, a 34-year-old teacher from Ohio, started noticing 1111 every day for 3 weeks straight. Each time she saw it, she was thinking about whether to apply for a principal position at a different school. She loved teaching, but felt called to leadership, yet she was terrified of making the wrong choice. The 11 appearances always happened when doubt crept in about her abilities. On November 11th, 1111, she was driving to work and saw 1111 on her car clock right as she passed a billboard that said, "Leadership starts here." She took this as a definitive sign and submitted her application that day. Not only did she get the job, but the interview committee told her they were impressed by her confidence and clarity about wanting the role. The daily 1111 messages had been preparing her consciousness for exactly the right moment to take action. But here's where Sarah's story gets even more interesting. 6 months into her new role as principal, she was struggling with a difficult budget decision that could affect teacher jobs. She was praying for guidance when she noticed the time. 11:11. At that exact moment, her phone buzzed with an email from the district office announcing an unexpected grant that covered exactly the amount she needed. Sarah said later that 1111 had become her personal hotline to divine guidance. Then there's Marcus, a 28-year-old engineer who was completely skeptical about anything spiritual. He started noticing 1111 during a dark period when his father was dying of cancer. Marcus was angry at the universe, angry at God, angry at life itself. But every time he checked his phone during visits to the hospital, it seemed to show 1111. Initially, this annoyed him even more, like the universe was mocking his pain. But his father, who was very spiritual, pointed out that maybe these weren't coincidences. What if, his father asked, the universe is trying to remind you that even in darkness, there's still connection, still love, still meaning. Marcus started paying attention differently. Each 1111 became a moment to remember something beautiful about his father, to feel grateful for their time together, or to send love instead of anger. The night his father passed away, Marcus was holding his hand when the room's digital clock turned to 1111. He felt such a profound sense of peace and connection that it transformed his entire relationship with spirituality and the law of attraction. Today, Marcus credits his 1111 experiences with helping him discover his life purpose. He's now training to become a hospice counselor, helping other families navigate end-of-life experiences with more grace and awareness. Lisa's story is about manifestation and divine timing. She was a struggling single mother, working 2 jobs and barely making ends meet. She'd heard about the law of attraction, but thought it was just wishful thinking for privileged people. Then she started seeing 1111 constantly. On her time clock at work, on her phone when she was stressed about bills, on her microwave when she was heating up dinner for her kids. A friend suggested she try making a wish at 1111. So Lisa started asking the universe for just enough money to pay her rent without stress. She didn't ask for millions, just stability. Within 2 weeks of starting this practice, 3 different opportunities came her way. A small raise at her main job, a neighbor who needed regular babysitting, and a freelance writing opportunity she found through social media. But the real breakthrough came when Lisa realized that 1111 wasn't just about asking for things. It was about aligning her thoughts and energy with abundance instead of scarcity. She started using 1111 moments to feel grateful for what she already had, to visualize herself as capable and resourceful, and to trust that opportunities would appear. 6 months later, Lisa had not only achieved financial stability, but had also started her own small business, providing virtual assistant services. She says that 1111 taught her the most important law of attraction principle. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. The daily portal moments helped her transform her identity from struggling single mom to resourceful entrepreneur. David's experience shows how 1111 can guide relationships and spiritual awakening. He was in his 40s, recently divorced, and convinced he'd never find love again. He wasn't looking for signs or practicing any kind of spirituality. He was just trying to rebuild his life. But 1111 kept appearing during moments when he was thinking about loneliness or wondering if he'd ever connect deeply with someone again. One evening, he was at a coffee shop feeling particularly sorry for himself when he noticed the time, 11:11. At the exact moment, a woman at the next table dropped her book and David instinctively helped her pick it up. They started talking, discovered incredible compatibility, and are now happily married. But David says the real magic wasn't meeting his wife. It was learning to trust that the universe was supporting him even when he couldn't see how. Each 1111 became a reminder that he wasn't alone, that divine timing was orchestrating his life even during difficult periods. This shift in perspective opened him up to possibilities he would have missed if he'd stayed focused on his pain and limitations. These stories illustrate something crucial about how 1111 and synchronicity actually work. The universe isn't just randomly showing you numbers, it's responding to your inner state, your questions, your needs, and your readiness to receive guidance. The key is learning to interpret these messages correctly and take appropriate action when they appear. Now that you understand the science and you've heard real stories, let me teach you exactly how to decode what the universe is telling you when you see 1111. This isn't guesswork or wishful thinking. This is a systematic approach based on thousands of documented experiences and ancient wisdom about divine timing and spiritual awakening. First, you need to understand that 1111 messages operate on multiple levels simultaneously. There's the universal meaning that applies to everyone, the personal meaning based on your individual circumstances, and the immediate contextual meaning based on what you were thinking or feeling when you noticed the numbers. Let's start with the universal meanings of 1111. At the most basic level, seeing 1111 means the universe is saying, pay attention. This is a moment of heightened spiritual activity. It's like a cosmic notification that you're in a portal moment where manifestation energy is amplified and divine guidance is more accessible than usual. The number 1 in numerology represents new beginnings, independence, leadership, and the power to create your own reality. When you see 4 ones together, this energy is magnified exponentially. So 1111 often appears when you're on the verge of a new chapter in your life, when you need to step into your personal power, or when you're ready to manifest something important. But 1111 also represents alignment. Look at the visual formation. 1111, it's perfectly symmetrical, perfectly balanced. This suggests that when you see these numbers, you're either in alignment with your highest good, or you need to come into alignment. The universe is highlighting the importance of balance between your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Now let's talk about personal meanings, because the universe customizes its messages based on your unique life situation and spiritual development. To decode your personal 1111 messages, you need to pay attention to what you were thinking, feeling, or doing when you notice the numbers. If you see 1111 while thinking about a specific person, the universe might be highlighting the spiritual significance of that relationship. It could be telling you to reach out to them, pay attention to the lessons they're bringing into your life, or recognize them as a soulmate or twin flame connection. If 1111 appears while you're making a decision, it's usually confirmation that you're considering the right choice. The universe is encouraging you to trust your intuition and move forward with confidence. When 1111 shows up during moments of doubt or fear, it's a reminder that you're supported by divine forces and that everything is working out for your highest good, even if you can't see how yet. If you notice 1111 while focusing on a goal or dream, the universe is amplifying your manifestation energy and encouraging you to take action toward what you desire. Sometimes 1111 appears when you're thinking about someone who has passed away. This is often a sign that their spirit is near and that they're sending you love and guidance from the other side. Let me teach you the contextual decoding system. This involves looking at what's happening in your life during the period when 1111 appearances increase. Are you going through a career change, relationship challenges, health issues, spiritual seeking? The specific life area that's most active usually provides clues about what the universe is trying to communicate. During career transitions, 1111 often means you're being guided toward your true life purpose. It's encouraging you to trust your talents and follow your authentic calling rather than staying in situations that don't align with your soul's mission. In relationship contexts, 1111 can indicate several things. You're about to meet someone significant, you need to heal patterns that are blocking love, or you're being guided to deepen your connection with someone already in your life. For health and wellness, 1111 often appears when you need to pay attention to your body's needs, make important lifestyle changes, or trust your intuition about healing approaches. During financial challenges, 1111 is usually a message about abundance consciousness. The universe is reminding you that prosperity is your natural state and encouraging you to release limiting beliefs about money and worthiness. Now, let me share the advanced decoding techniques that most people never learn. One of the most powerful methods is what I call the 48-hour tracking system. When you see 1111, pay close attention to what happens in the next 48 hours. Often, the universe will send confirmation signs, opportunities, or synchronicities that clarify the original message. The pattern recognition approach involves tracking multiple synchronicities around the time you see 1111. Did you also notice other repeating numbers? Meaningful songs on the radio? Unexpected encounters with specific animals or symbols? The universe often sends clusters of signs that, when viewed together, create a more complete message. One of the most important things to understand is that 1111 messages often come with deadlines. The universe operates on divine timing, and these portal moments frequently appear to alert you to windows of opportunity that won't remain open indefinitely. When you see 1111, especially repeatedly, it's often saying, "The time is now, don't wait." Mastering the law of attraction with 1111. Here's where everything comes together in the most practical way possible. I'm going to teach you how to use 1111 portal moments to supercharge your manifestation abilities and work with the law of attraction more effectively than most people ever learn to do. First, let's get clear about what the law of attraction actually is, because there's a lot of confusion and oversimplification around this topic. The law of attraction isn't just about positive thinking or visualizing what you want. It's about vibrational alignment, matching your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and actions with the frequency of what you desire to manifest. Everything in the universe, including your thoughts and emotions, operates at specific vibrational frequencies. When you align your personal frequency with the frequency of your desires, you create what physicists call resonance, which dramatically increases the probability that those desires will manifest in your physical reality. 1111. Portal moments are like cosmic amplifiers for this process. During these brief windows, the normal barriers between your consciousness and the quantum field of infinite possibilities become thinner, making manifestation faster and more precise. Let me teach you the complete 1111 manifestation protocol that has helped thousands of people successfully attract their desires. This system combines ancient spiritual wisdom with modern understanding of consciousness and quantum physics. The protocol begins at 11:10, 1 minute before the portal opens. Use this minute to center yourself and clear your mind of random thoughts. Take 3 deep breaths and set the intention to receive divine guidance and amplify your manifestation power. When the clock hits 11:11, immediately focus on your primary desire. But here's the crucial part. Don't focus on wanting it. Focus on already having it. Feel the emotions you would experience if your desire had already manifested. This emotional state is what actually creates the vibrational match that attracts your desire. If you're manifesting a loving relationship, feel the warmth, security, and joy you would experience with your ideal partner. If you're manifesting financial abundance, feel the peace, freedom, and gratitude you would have with financial security. If you're manifesting improved health, feel the vitality and energy of perfect wellness. During the second minute of 11:11, add sensory details to your visualization. What would you see, hear, smell, taste, or touch in your desired reality? The more senses you engage, the more real your manifestation becomes to your subconscious mind. which can't tell the difference between vividly imagined experiences and actual reality. As the portal moment ends at 11:12, express genuine gratitude as if your desire has already been fulfilled. Say something like, "Thank you, universe, for bringing me my perfect relationship," or "Thank you for my abundant financial flow," or "Thank you for my perfect health." This gratitude seals the manifestation and signals to the universe that you truly believe your desire is on its way. But here's what most people miss. The real work happens after 11:11. The universe responds to consistent vibrational alignment, not just brief moments of focused intention. You need to maintain the feeling state you cultivated during 11:11 throughout your day as much as possible. This is where most law of attraction efforts fail. People do their visualization or affirmations for a few minutes, then spend the rest of the day thinking thoughts and feeling emotions that contradict what they're trying to manifest. If you visualize abundance at 11:11 but spend the rest of the day worrying about money, you're sending mixed signals to the universe. The solution is what I call vibrational maintenance. Throughout the day, especially when you catch yourself thinking thoughts that don't align with your desires, pause and reconnect with the feeling you cultivated during 11:11. This doesn't mean forcing fake positivity. It means gently redirecting your attention to possibilities rather than problems. Let me share some advanced 11:11 manifestation techniques that can accelerate your results dramatically. The first is called portal stacking. This involves using multiple 11:11 moments, both morning and evening, to work on the same manifestation. Each portal moment builds on the previous one, creating cumulative momentum. Another powerful technique is synchronized manifestation. If you can coordinate with friends or family members to focus on your individual desires during the same 11:11 moment, the collective energy amplifies everyone's manifestation power. Some online communities organize global 11:11 manifestation sessions where thousands of people participate simultaneously. The gratitude bridge technique involves using 11:11 moments to feel grateful, not just for what you want to manifest, but for signs that it's already on its way. Maybe you desire a new career and you notice more job postings in your field, or you're manifesting love and you keep meeting interesting people. These small signs are the universe's way of building momentum toward your larger desire. One of my favorite advanced techniques is cosmic ordering during 11:11. Instead of just focusing on one specific desire, you can place what I call a general order with the universe for your highest good. You might say something like, "Universe, please bring me whatever will serve my highest happiness and spiritual growth." This approach allows the universe to surprise you with opportunities you might not have thought to ask for specifically. For those dealing with resistance or limiting beliefs, 11:11 can be used for what I call belief upgrade sessions. Instead of focusing on what you want, focus on upgrading the beliefs that are blocking you. If you have limiting beliefs about money, use 11:11 to feel and affirm your worthiness to receive abundance. If you have limiting beliefs about love, use the portal moment to feel deserving of a beautiful relationship. The future self technique is incredibly powerful for those working on personal development and spiritual awakening. During 11:11, connect with the version of yourself who has already achieved your goals and embodies your highest potential. Feel into their confidence, wisdom, and peace. Ask them for guidance about your current challenges. This technique helps you align with the person you're becoming rather than staying stuck in old patterns. Let me address some common mistakes that can actually block your manifestations when using 11:11. The biggest mistake is approaching 11:11 from a place of desperation or lack. If you're using portal moments to escape from problems rather than align with possibilities, you're actually reinforcing the very conditions you're trying to change. Another mistake is being too attached to specific outcomes. The universe often delivers our desires in ways we don't expect, and rigid attachment can cause us to miss opportunities that are actually better than what we originally asked for. Some people make the mistake of only using 1111 for material desires while ignoring spiritual growth. The most powerful manifestations happen when you're also asking for wisdom, compassion, inner peace, and spiritual awakening. These qualities actually accelerate the manifestation of external desires. Beyond 1111, the complete number language. While 1111 is probably the most well-known angel number sequence, it's actually part of a much larger communication system that the universe uses to guide and support you. Once you understand this complete number language, you'll realize that you're receiving divine guidance constantly throughout every single day. Let me teach you how to decode the most common angel number sequences so you can understand the full conversation the universe is having with you. Each number carries specific vibrational information, and when numbers appear in sequences, they create more complex messages about your life path, spiritual development, and immediate guidance needs. Starting with single-digit meanings, because these form the foundation of all more complex sequences. The number 1 represents new beginnings, independence, and manifestation power. When you see lots of ones, the universe is highlighting your ability to create your own reality through focused intention and action. The number 2 is about cooperation, relationships, balance, and patience. Seeing 2s often means you need to focus on partnerships, wait for divine timing, or find better balance in some area of your life. Number 3 represents creativity, communication, joy, and spiritual expansion. When 3s appear frequently, you're being encouraged to express yourself authentically, embrace your creative gifts, or pay attention to guidance from ascended masters or spiritual teachers. The number 4 signifies stability, hard work, practical foundations, and angelic protection. Seeing 4s means you're supported by your guardian angels, and that steady effort toward your goals will pay off. Number 5 is about change, freedom, adventure, and life lessons learned through experience. When 5s show up, expect or embrace significant changes that will ultimately lead to greater personal freedom. The number 6 relates to home, family, service to others, and healing. Seeing 6s often means you need to focus more attention on domestic harmony, caring for others, or healing emotional wounds. Number 7 represents spiritual awakening, inner wisdom, mystical experiences, and deep introspection. When 7s appear frequently, you're being called to develop your spiritual gifts and trust your inner knowing. The number 8 is about material mastery, financial abundance, business success, and personal power. Seeing 8s suggests that prosperity and achievement are flowing into your life, or that you need to step into your personal power more fully. Number 9 signifies completion, humanitarian service, spiritual wisdom, and letting go of what no longer serves you. When 9s appear, you're often completing a major life cycle and preparing for something new. The number 0 represents infinite potential, spiritual connection, and divine source energy. Seeing 0 amplifies the meaning of whatever numbers appear with it and suggests direct connection to universal consciousness. Now let's explore the most significant double and triple number sequences that you might encounter. 111 creates urgent manifestation energy. When you see this sequence, your thoughts are manifesting into reality very quickly, so pay careful attention to what you're focusing on. The sequence 222 represents balance, cooperation, and trust in divine timing. This often appears when you're being asked to be patient, work with others, or trust that everything is unfolding perfectly, even if you can't see the bigger picture yet. 333 indicates that ascended masters, highly evolved spiritual beings, are near and offering guidance. This sequence often appears during creative projects, spiritual development, or when you need encouragement to express your authentic self. 400 for Taur is one of the most comforting sequences because it means you're completely surrounded by angelic love and protection. When you see 444, especially during difficult times, know that you're not alone and that divine support is available to you. 555 signals. Major life changes approaching. This sequence prepares you for transformation and encourages you to embrace new opportunities with excitement rather than fear. The controversial sequence 666 has been misunderstood for centuries. In angel number terms, 666 isn't evil. It's a reminder to balance your material and spiritual life. It often appears when you've become too focused on money, possessions, or physical concerns while neglecting your spiritual growth. 777 indicates that your spiritual gifts are awakening and that you're receiving divine insights and intuitive downloads. This sequence often appears during meditation, spiritual study, or when you're developing psychic abilities. 888 represents financial abundance and material prosperity flowing into your life. It can also indicate that you're mastering the balance between spiritual and material success. 999 signals the completion of a major life phase and a preparation for new beginnings. This sequence often appears during endings that, while sometimes difficult, are necessary for your spiritual evolution. Sequential numbers like 123, 234, 345, and so on represent step-by-step progress and encourage you to trust the process of gradual development rather than expecting instant results. Birthday numbers, dates that are personally significant to you, appearing as angel numbers, often indicate that someone who has passed away is sending you love and guidance, or that the universe is highlighting something important about your life purpose. Master numbers like 11, 22, and 33 carry especially powerful spiritual significance. 11 represents intuitive illumination and spiritual insight. 22 is about manifesting large-scale dreams and building something significant that serves others. 33 represents compassionate service and spiritual teaching. To effectively work with this complete number language, develop what I call numerical awareness throughout your day. Instead of just passively noticing numbers, actively engage with them. When you see a significant sequence, pause and ask, what is the universe trying to tell me right now? Then pay attention to the thoughts, feelings, or insights that arise. Keep a number journal where you record significant sequences along with what was happening in your life when you noticed them. Over time, you'll discover your personal number patterns and learn how the universe communicates with you specifically. Remember that the universe often sends numbers in clusters around important events or decisions. If you're seeing multiple different sequences in a short period, pay attention to the combined message they're creating about your current life situation. Living in synchronicity, daily practices. Now I want to share the practical daily systems that will help you live in constant alignment with universal guidance and synchronicity. These aren't complicated spiritual practices that require hours of meditation. These are simple, effective techniques that busy people can integrate into their normal routines. The foundation of living in synchronicity is what I call conscious awareness, a state of relaxed attention, where you're open to receiving guidance while still handling your practical responsibilities. This isn't about being spaced out or constantly looking for signs. It's about maintaining a background awareness that the universe is always communicating with you. Start each morning with what I call the synchronicity intention. Before you check your phone or get caught up in the day's demands, take 60 seconds to set an intention to remain open to divine guidance throughout the day. You might say something like, Universe, I am open to receiving your guidance today. Please help me notice the signs, opportunities, and connections that will serve my highest good. This simple practice creates what psychologists call a perceptual set, a mental framework that helps you notice meaningful information that you might otherwise miss. It's like programming your consciousness to filter for synchronicity and guidance rather than just problems and distractions. Throughout the day, practice what I call sacred pausing. These are brief moments where you stop, breathe, and check in with your inner guidance. You can do this while waiting in line before important meetings, when making decisions, or whenever you feel stressed or uncertain. During sacred pauses, ask yourself simple questions like, what does my intuition say about this situation? Or, what would love do here? Or, what is the universe trying to teach me right now? You don't need elaborate answers, just pay attention to the first thought, feeling, or knowing that arises. One of the most powerful daily practices is what I call gratitude scanning. Instead of general gratitude, specifically look for and appreciate the small synchronicities and meaningful moments that happen every day. Maybe you thought of someone and they texted you. Maybe you needed information and exactly the right article appeared in your social media feed. Maybe you were running late, but all the traffic lights turned green. These small synchronicities are the universe's way of showing you that you are connected, supported, and guided. The more you acknowledge and appreciate them, the more you'll notice and the stronger your overall synchronicity awareness becomes. Another essential practice is question asking. Instead of trying to figure everything out with your logical mind, get in the habit of asking the universe for guidance about specific situations. You might ask, what's the best approach for this conversation with my boss? Or, how can I best support my child through this difficult time? Or, what do I need to know about this opportunity? After asking, pay attention to the guidance that comes through intuitive insights, helpful conversations, relevant information that appears unexpectedly, or yes and no signals through synchronicity. The universe is always ready to help, but you have to ask and then pay attention to the responses. Develop what I call symbolic awareness, the ability to recognize when objects, animals, songs, or other elements in your environment carry messages for you. If you keep seeing the same type of bird, hearing the same song, or noticing the same symbol, there's likely a message there for you. For example, seeing hawks often relates to messages about perspective and seeing the bigger picture. Rabbits might be encouraging you to trust your intuition and be ready to move quickly when opportunities appear. Butterflies usually symbolize transformation and spiritual rebirth. The key is paying attention to what resonates with you personally, rather than relying only on universal symbol meanings. If seeing yellow flowers always makes you think of your grandmother, then yellow flowers appearing in your path might be a sign that her spirit is near or that her wisdom is relevant to your current situation. Create what I call synchronicity anchors throughout your day. These are specific times, places, or activities where you intentionally tune into universal guidance. Maybe you use your morning coffee time to check in with your intuition. Maybe you use your commute to ask for guidance about the day ahead. Maybe you use the time right before sleep to review the day's synchronicities and ask for guidance through dreams. Having regular synchronicity anchors ensures that you stay connected to universal guidance even during busy or stressful periods. They create a rhythm of divine connection that supports you through whatever challenges or opportunities arise. Practice what I call energetic discernment, the ability to sense whether situations, people, or opportunities are aligned with your highest good. When you meet new people, notice how you feel in their presence. When considering new opportunities, pay attention to whether they create expansion or contraction in your energy. Your body and emotions are constantly giving you guidance about what's aligned for you and what isn't. Situations that are truly beneficial for you will generally create feelings of peace, excitement, or energetic expansion. Situations that aren't aligned for you will often create anxiety, energetic contraction, or a sense of something's not right, even if the opportunity looks good on paper. Learn to work with what I call divine timing, rather than forcing outcomes according to your personal timeline. The universe operates on perfect timing that takes into account factors you can't possibly see from your limited perspective. When something you want doesn't happen according to your schedule, practice trusting that the delay is actually protection or preparation for something better. Use obstacles and challenges as synchronicity guidance. When you keep encountering resistance or obstacles in a particular direction, it might be the universe redirecting you toward a better path. Conversely, when things flow easily and doors keep opening, that's usually confirmation that you're heading in the right direction. Develop what I call synchronicity sharing with trusted friends or family members. Share meaningful coincidences and ask others to help you interpret potential messages. Sometimes other people can see patterns or meanings that you miss because you're too close to the situation. Create a synchronicity support network of people who understand and appreciate meaningful coincidences. Having others who recognize the reality of universal guidance helps you stay confident in your experiences. Skeptical people try to dismiss them as wishful thinking. Practice outcome detachment while maintaining process commitment. This means staying dedicated to taking inspired action and following your inner guidance while releasing attachment to specific results. Trust that if you follow synchronicity and divine guidance consistently, you'll end up exactly where you need to be, even if it's different from what you originally planned. Your awakening journey starts now. We've covered thousands of years of wisdom, cutting-edge science, real-life stories, and practical techniques, but this is really just the beginning of your journey into living as a conscious co-creator with the universe. Everything I've shared today is designed to help you recognize that you're not a random accident floating through a meaningless universe. You're a divine being having a human experience, and the universe is constantly supporting, guiding, and communicating with you. The most important thing to understand is that spiritual awakening and synchronicity awareness aren't destinations you reach. They're ongoing processes of expanding consciousness and deepening trust in your connection to universal intelligence. Some days you'll feel completely aligned and aware, and other days you'll feel disconnected and doubt everything you've learned. This is completely normal and part of the human journey. What matters is that you now have tools to reconnect with guidance whenever you need to. You understand that seeing 1111 isn't just a cute coincidence. It's evidence that you're part of something much larger and more meaningful than your everyday problems and concerns. Let me leave you with some practical next steps that will help you integrate everything we've discussed today. First, start paying attention to 1111 with the new understanding you now have. Instead of just making wishes, use these portal moments to connect with universal intelligence, ask for guidance, and practice manifestation techniques. Keep a simple journal where you record your 1111 experiences and any synchronicities that follow in the next 10 to 48 hours. You don't need to write long entries. Just brief notes about what you were thinking when you saw 11 and what happened afterward. Over time, you'll discover your personal patterns and learn how the universe communicates with you specifically. Practice the law of attraction techniques I taught you, but remember that manifestation isn't about getting the universe to give you what you want. It's about aligning yourself with what wants to emerge through you. Ask yourself regularly, what is trying to be born through my life? And then use 1111 moments to support those deeper purposes. Develop your intuitive abilities through daily practice. Your intuition is your direct line to universal guidance. And like any skill, it gets stronger with regular use. Start with small, low-stakes decisions. Which route to take home, what to eat for lunch, which movie to watch. And practice tuning in to your inner knowing before making choices. Share your journey with others who are open to these concepts. You don't need to convince skeptics or try to convert anyone, but connecting with like-minded people will support your growth and help you stay confident in your experiences. Remember that everyone's spiritual awakening journey looks different. Don't compare your experiences to what you see on social media or read in books. Trust your own timing, your own pace, and your own unique way of connecting with universal guidance. Be patient with yourself as you develop these new awareness skills. Synchronicity, recognition, and spiritual awakening happen gradually for most people. You're not trying to completely transform your life overnight. You're gently expanding your consciousness and learning to live in greater harmony with universal flow. Most importantly, remember that the goal isn't to escape from human life into some purely spiritual realm. The goal is to bring spiritual awareness into your everyday experiences, making your work more meaningful, your relationships more loving, your challenges more educational, and your joy more profound. The universe has been waiting for you to wake up to this conversation that's been happening your entire life. Every 11 you've ever noticed, every meaningful coincidence you've experienced, every moment of intuitive knowing you've had. These were all invitations to remember who you really are and why you're here. You're not just a human being trying to have spiritual experiences, you're a spiritual being having a human experience. The 11 phenomenon is just one of countless ways the universe reminds you of this truth and invites you to live from this deeper understanding. Your awakening journey is unique to you, but you're not walking it alone. Millions of people around the world are going through their own versions of spiritual awakening, and we're all connected through the same universal consciousness that speaks to each of us through numbers, synchronicities, and countless other forms of divine communication. Trust the process. Trust your experiences. Trust that the universe is always working for your highest good, even when you can't see how. And remember, every time you see 11 from now on, it's not just a time on a clock. It's a love letter from the universe, reminding you that you're exactly where you need to be, exactly when you need to be there, and that your journey of awakening is unfolding perfectly. The conversation between you and the universe starts now. Are you ready to listen,